Here are the solar headlines. Malacanang confirms the Abu Sayyaf has the missing journalists in Sulu. Pagasa monitors two new weather disturbances as Typhoon Buchoy heads out of the country. Saudi Arabia mourns as Crown Prince Nayef is laid to rest in the Holy Land of Mecca. American Webb Simpson wins his first major title at the 112th U.S. Open Golf Championship in California. And for our in-depth look, the controversial Freedom of Information Bill may see the light at the end of a long deliberation in Congress.
Malacanang confirms the Abu Sayyaf group has the three journalists who disappeared in Jolo, Sulu. Ina Andolong joins us live from Malacanang. Ina?
PIA Presidential Spokesperson Edwin Lacerda has confirmed that Jordanian journalist Baker Atiani of Al Arabia News and his two Filipino camera crew, Rolando Letrero and Bramelito Verda, are in the hands of the Abu Sayyaf Group or the ASG. Secretary Lacerda says Sulu Governor Abdu Sakurtan has already formed a crisis committee that will look into the case of the news team that was last spotted on June 12. He says they were informed that the news team is in the custody of the ASG, but says that they still cannot say if the journalists are kidnapped or held hostage, especially since no ransom has been demanded. Lacerda says Sakurtan's crisis committee is in communication with the ASG and is finding out why the news team is still under their custody. He says Sulu officials were only aware of Atiani's interview with Sakurtan before he went missing and that they were not informed that he had plans of interviewing a leader of the ASG. The news team were last seen at around 5 a.m. on June 12, voluntarily riding a multi-cab on their way to an interview. Lacerda says as far as they're concerned, Sulu officials did their job in protecting Atiani and his team by offering them security and a place to stay, all of which were declined. He says the government cannot tell Atiani and his team what to do as journalists and at best can only caution them of the dangers they may face because of their coverage. Meanwhile, Secretary Lacerda says the new travel advisory issued by the United States has nothing to do with the case of Atiani. In its latest advisory, the U.S. government warned its citizens against traveling to Sulu and other parts of Mindanao. Lacerda says the advisory is just part of the U.S. government's regular issuance of these advisories and even said that the latest one is an improvement for the Philippines as less cities are now included in the advisory.
Is that he's in the hands of ASG and that he went there voluntarily for an interview. In fact, as I don't know if Abby has mentioned this yesterday, that we were informed, Saturday, that we were informed that we were providing security for him. When I say we, Governor Sakurtan, but he declined. And at 5 a.m. on June 12, I think, he was seen riding a vehicle, riding a vehicle voluntarily. Up to that time, after that, we had no information anymore as to his whereabouts until.
Pia?
Thank you, Ina Andolong, reporting live from Malacanang. The Judicial and Bar Council will allow live media coverage of the entire process in selecting the next Chief Justice. Anjo Alimario is at the Supreme Court to give us an update. Anjo?
Pia, the JBC has unanimously voted to allow cameras and tape recorders inside the room where the interviews will be held, as well as live TV and radio coverage of the proceedings. Specifically, the Council has resolved to delete the prohibitions contained in Section 5 of the Rule number JBC-10. But JBC member Senator Francis Escudero notes the suggestion to open the deliberation where the members vote on who will comprise the shortlist has been referred to the Executive Committee. He says some of the JBC members have concerns if the deliberation will be aired live, including the venue where it will be held. Meanwhile, the JBC has also extended the nominations and applications for the Chief Justice post until July 2. Consequently, the timeline to vote for the short list of nominees to be submitted to the President has been moved from July 16 to July 30. Acting Supreme Court spokesperson Gleo Guerra clarifies that extension was not granted to accommodate anyone who has not yet been nominated. Other JBC members, Attorney Jose Mejia and Mitoy Cayosa, say all the 8 members of the council attended the meeting, including Acting Chief Justice Antonio Carpio. But when it came to the discussion for the Chief Justice post, Carpio and Justice Secretary Laila de Lima, along with Associate Justice Teresita de Castro, who is the JBC consultant, and fellow CJ nominees, inhibited and didn't participate during the voting. As of today, the number of nominees for the CJ post climbs to 40, including 2 applicants. Among those who have been recently nominated are Associate Justice Estela Perles Bernabe and former presidential candidate Gilbert Chodoro Jr. Associate Justices Arturo Brion and Roberto Abad have also confirmed their nominations. Pia?
Thank you, Anjo Alimario, joining us live from the Supreme Court. Solar News wants to help in the process of selecting the next Chief Justice of the land. It is for this reason that we've invited nominees so we can get to know them more. Tonight we have here in the studio Bureau of Internal Revenue Commissioner Kim Enades. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Pia. Thank you for having me here.
Well, we're very happy to have you here, ma'am, on our first broadcast. But tell us first, why haven't you decided yet if you will be accepting the nomination?
Well, because I have a lot of things in my plate in the Bureau of Internal Revenue. No? We are in the process of instituting a lot of reforms. So for me to leave that and jump to another job, I have to really weigh the pros and the cons of that. No? I don't want to leave something in the middle without really, it has to be something more important than what I'm doing now. No? So I have not yet come up with a decision that the Chief Justice position is more important than what I am doing now with the Bureau of Internal Revenue.
And the reforms that you're talking about in the BIR?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of things, no? Process re-engineering, making things easier for people to register, making it easier for us to monitor. So those are things and we're in the process of implementing a $50 million grant from the United States. No? So those are things that are preoccupying me with the Bureau of Internal Revenue. And I guess the other thing is, without money, no amount of reform can work, right? Because you need money to institute reform. If you want to put in a new system, you have to have the budget. No? So
are you talking about in the judiciary?
Anywhere in this government, right? Whatever program the government has, we have to have the revenue to fund this. No? So that's where the quandary is. No?
Yeah.
So there.
But it sounds like, if you talk about without the money, then there can be no reform. But you're leaning towards staying in the BIR. Lalo na,
I've not really made,
So it's everything
is in a flux.
Okay. So pareho lang. It's like 50-50. You feel the same way about staying as BIR Commissioner and being Chief Justice.
Yeah, because,
Or accepting the nomination.
The nomination of the... Well, because I can see the importance of judicial reform. No? So whatever we do in the executive, whatever reform we're doing there, cannot really be completed or will not be as effective without the judicial reform.
Okay. Did you need a little more time to decide on this?
I was given a little bit more time today, up
Because
till July 2, because of the extension.
Because of the extension that was granted.
Yes.
Okay. So within the next 2 weeks, yun ang pag-iisipan mo if you're willing to. And yun lang ang dahilan, no? Kung ano yung iiwanan mo sa BIR.
Yeah. Basically,
No other considerations?
No, that's just it.
But the President did say that he would prefer that you would finish your term as BIR Commissioner.
The BIR Commissioner doesn't have a term. No? It's a coterminous, and in fact, the President can replace you at any time. No? So there's no term.
Pero ang Chief Justice hindi ka pwedeng palitan.
Yeah, but that's not
Unless
really
you're
a
impeached.
major consideration. No? But what I'm saying only is that we started something. I would like to complete as much of it as possible. No?
Yeah. Have you and the President spoken about this even in passing?
In passing, yeah.
What does he say?
Nothing. He
Apart
just,
from what he's already said.
nothing. Basically the same thing that he was just, it's a question mark, the comment. The comment was, isn't it we're doing so well in the Bureau? Sayang naman. No? So
okay.
it's not a declaration but a statement also.
An
A
open-ended
question,
a
yeah.
question waiting for your answer.
Yeah. So,
And ano yung sinagot niyo sa kanya?
wala.
Wala?
Wala pa akong sinasagot.
No, but
I
when
mean,
he said,
the
isn't it
answer
that we're
would be
doing so well?
yes. That's basically why I have not decided because sayang naman ho yung mga inumpisahan na namin sa BIR. No? Na sana matuloy-tuloy. No? So,
Yeah.
pero at the end of the day, anyway, I have till July to decide. So,
Okay.
I'll take the time. No, I should not make it. I should not decide hastily. No, everything should be well thought of and weighed. No?
Yeah.
So
Oo.
I'd like to take the time to decide on it. No?
Did you express that? To Malacanang or to the president that I need a little bit more time to think about this?
He didn't ask me.
He
No,
did not.
he
Hindi
did
naman.
not.
You didn't parang offer that possibility na. Can you give me a little more time? Walang ganon.
No.
Kaya biglang may
No.
nag-file ng extension.
No.
Wala. Okay. Some people say you shouldn't be Chief Justice because you testified in the impeachment trial of Renato Corona.
Well, I'd like to say that I testified because I was subpoenaed. If I did not appear and testify, I would have been charged for contempt. So the reason why I testified is I'm following the rule of law. No? I was ordered, so I went there. And when I went there, I just presented the facts. I did not really place my opinion, except when I was asked by the defense. That's the only time I aired my opinion because I was asked. No? And
Yeah.
as much, if you notice during my testimony, I try as much as possible to avoid saying things. Right? But I was ordered.
Unless you're goaded into it.
No, because I was ordered by the Senate
Yeah.
President
Okay.
to answer, so I answered.
Did you really say, ma'am, and we quote, I have an advantage over all the other people? What
I've
what
never
exactly
said
did you
that.
say? What exactly did you say? in Malacanang
When
you
I
were
was in
interviewed?
the Ban de Honor, no, then without knowing it, there was a group of press people, media, no, and they asked me. The premise of the question is that people are saying that I should not be nominated because I'm not qualified and all those things. No? So in defense, because I don't know anything about the judiciary, basically that's what they're saying. Basically, in defense of myself, I just said that I would think that I'm not disqualified. In fact, I know a lot about the judiciary, having experienced the negative aspect of the judicial system.
Okay, but you didn't say anything close to, I have an
I-
advantage over all the other
No.
people. Ako ang pinakamagaling na nominee. Walang ganon.
If you know me, I never say those things.
Okay. Laila de Lima has said that she cannot picture herself as a cloistered Chief Justice. Parang walang social life, wala, no? Hindi ka makapagsasalita. Can you picture yourself as Chief Justice? Wala kang kausap masyado.
Basically, I'm an introvert by nature. So it does not really bother me about being by myself or being cloistered. No? It's not really a problem because if you look at what I do, work, home. I don't, except the media when they ask me for an interview, then I respond. But otherwise, I don't really have a very active social life. So
Yeah.
it does not bother me.
If you were Chief Justice, could you still go target shooting?
By myself,
By
yes.
yourself and not with the president anymore?
Yeah, but the thinking is I should not. No? But so to give the perception that you're independent.
Is there anyone among the other nominees who you think should be Chief Justice?
All of them can be Chief Justice.
No, but is there one among them
No.
that you... wala. Not even Laila de Lima?
No, what I mean, all of them are qualified. So whoever is chosen, I think, would be okay to be Chief Justice. I cannot say who's better, who's not, because all of them have their own strength and their own weaknesses. No? So all of us have our strength and our weaknesses. No?
Yeah.
So it would have been better if there can be more Chief Justice, right? So that we help each other in our weakness and strength. But unfortunately, we can only choose one. Yeah. So,
What reforms are you thinking of exactly, if you were to be Chief Justice? Reforms in the judiciary?
well, I think the first, we have very good laws, we have very good procedures. No? The rules of court is basically one of the better rules of procedures globally. I think the thing that we like everything else, it's in the implementation that we're not living up to. No? So I would think the first thing is to make sure you implement what's in the rules of court. No? The time period given, all the procedures, what you cannot
Time
do.
period meaning how long a case can be heard and tried.
and what
no?
are allowed, what motion are not allowed, no? So that it will it will be speedier the resolution of the case. No? That's one thing, and the second thing is there should be a system to be able to monitor performance. No? What's going on, so that because unless you know what's going on, you cannot really determine whether the performance are okay or not. No?
Performance of judges.
Yeah, of the judicial system
entire
itself.
judicial
No?
system. Okay.
Whether the decision is properly served, the motion has been. So a lot of record management systems should be instituted. And I think if you're able to do that, then you will shorten the adjudication period. No? And I think it is the reason why people go to the judiciaries, because they have a problem and they want an early resolution of that problem.
Yes.
And I think having a case there for more than 10 years is something that's
terrible.
unexplainable,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
so I guess those are the things. So basically, it's a strict implementation of what's there and being sure that you have a way of monitoring things so that you can make sure that you know what's happening and you can implement changes as needed.
Okay. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us tonight. And I guess we can expect your decision in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, by
You only
July
have
2.
weeks. By July 2. Maraming salamat po, BIR Commissioner Kim Enares. Thank you for joining us.